Hello, welcome to Roots in Music. I'm Elaine.
And I'm Lee.
And we're the Roys. We have an exciting show tonight with great videos, old and new.
That's right, and our guest tonight calls his mom his American Idol. And although he captured hearts singing on TV, his musical roots have led to 3 studio albums, and he shows absolutely no signs of slowing down.
So come on back after this video to learn more about Bo Bice's Roots in Music. Welcome to another episode of Roots in Music. Today we have a wonderful friend of ours, Mr. Bo Bice. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, how are y'all doing, my friends?
We're doing great. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you could work up, muster up enough to come and sit with me today after yesterday at the golf event. So I was bringing my trophy in. I did not want to gloat.
Well, that's good.
We appreciate that.
Because that's
gives me something to shoot for next year.
I was never mention it to anyone.
Hey, Bo, where are you from, and how early were you when you started playing music?
Well, I started playing music. Well, first of all, I'm from the beautiful state of Alabama, just down the road here. Huntsville, Alabama is my birthplace. And I started playing music when I was they say it was 3 or 4, and I used to think that it couldn't be. I thought they were just kind of, glorifying it a little. And then I see my little almost 3-year-old. He's been singing now for a while. So I guess it was about 3 or so. And the first song that I learned to sing was Long Haired Country Boy. And I used to sing it for a quarter.
Interesting.
And so I go.
So you were a money-making singer at 3 or 4.
Man, my granddaddy came home. I did that for a little bit. My granddaddy came home one day and he said, "Bogart, sing me that Long Haired Country Boy." I said, "Give me $1." He said, "I left this morning, it was a quarter. I come home, it's $1. So I went down the street. Dolores give me $1 to sing it. I reckon now that's what it's worth." So,
smart.
That was where it all started, and I thank you, Charlie Daniels, for making me a capitalist. I love you.
Now, you have a very interesting lineage. You moved from England to Alabama to Nashville. So tell us about that. How did that influence all of what you do?
Well, I grew up traveling a lot. We left Alabama when I was about 2. We moved down to Jacksonville for a bit, and then Atlanta, Georgia for a good stint, and then over to England. And, that was a nice time for me because really in Georgia, that was where it kicked off. I got the bug. I started playing guitar at 9, and then at 12, I had enough muster in me to go and do a talent contest at the school. And I made it all the way up to the state level and got to sing at the Civic Center, and that was it for me, man. I sang "God Bless the USA" by Lee Greenwood, and that was it for me, man. From then on, this is what I wanted to do. And then I started we moved to England when I was 12, and I started my first band when I was 15, and have been blessed enough that I've in some way made a living. Sometimes meager, sometimes not, at playing music, and it's something that I do as a passion and a love, and every single day. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. We're friends, and we talk behind the scenes, so it's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into sitting where we're sitting today, and I'm very grateful to the Lord for providing a path for me.
Don't go anywhere. You'll stick around with us, right?
I'll stick somewhere.
He's going to stay around, folks. We'll be back in a little bit here to talk to our good friend, Bo Bice. Welcome back to Roots in Music, everybody. I'm Lee. This is my sister, Elaine. We are the Roys, and we are joined today by someone who is really steeped really deep in roots in music, but also we call one of our great friends Mr. Bo Bice.
Lee, before we look, I've got to tell this story. Because we've got a chuckle out of it now, because we've known each other for, I guess, about 5 years now, right?
Probably 5 years
doing
now.
Different events.
Yeah.
I think the first time we met was at the
the White House.
Well, that was. And then we did CMA Fest and stuff that first time together. And so after about, I guess it was a year of knowing you, because I used to always come up and say, "Hey, Leroy, what's up, Leroy? Hey, Leroy, what's up?" And finally, we were standing somewhere, and he says, "Bo, you know my name's Lee, right?" I said, "Leroy." And he said, "No, it's separate." "Oh, yeah. I knew that the whole time.
See?
You were just testing me if I knew.
I was seeing
But
if you remembered.
You were good because you got it right all the time.
You
right?
got it right now.
It was awesome.
Hey, going back to those early years, you did a lot of gospel music. Tell us about that.
Well, growing up in church, and my family it was kind of weird growing up for me because my mother's family are holiness, Pentecostal. And so it was a revival for church and Southern gospel music. And then I also grew up with my dad being Catholic. We got a little mixture of both. I tell people that. So that's an odd, Catholic and Pentecostal, you know. But having so much history and love for that kind of Southern gospel music, and that's actually the new project that I'm working on, is a Southern gospel project, and there's something about Southern music, and I think that's why so many people in music today, we hear it in country, we hear it in rock, we hear it in blues. It's because we truly do. There's outreach into different genres from that gospel music that we all started in. It started in the hymnals.
Yes, it did. It's kind of the roots of where everything kind of branches off.
Right.
And you hear a lot of that, like you said, in different genres of music. Right. And I have so many questions to ask. One TV show changed your life forever.
That's right. Oh.
American Idol.
Oh,
yeah, that one. Were there more?
I thought you were talking about Cops.
I did not know about
released my
Cops.
episode a couple of years ago.
But American Idol truly changed your life. I remember watching that show, you and Carrie Underwood, and either one of you winning, to me, was the right choice. Yeah. So, and now I can call you a friend. How incredible is that? So tell us about that experience.
Well, it was, and that, I've always said that. How can you, because people say, man, weren't you upset you didn't win? And I always say, no, it really didn't concern me too much. I felt like we both won. I got everything I ever wanted out of the gig, and I was able to see one of my friends get everything that she's ever wanted out of life. So, and I don't say that because that's like my staple go-to answer. I say it because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better person. I think the right person won. She's gone on to prove that. She's got, you know, Grammys and awards and accolades, and you know, I've gotten some of my own that I'm proud of. But for me, you know, we were watching the behind the music of Carrie, and we were with my kids, and I had them tucked around me, and we were kind of laying up in my bed all watching it, and I was in it, and so we didn't say anything about it. We were just watching it with them, and Aiden pops, you know, I pop up on there, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, it's you," and I said, "Well, it is." He goes, "Look," he says, "Did you win?" I said, "No, I didn't win." He goes, "Well, that's okay." He says, he said, "Did you get a trophy?" I said, "You guys are my trophy."
Absolutely. You're a winner in their eyes. Hold that thought. We're going to be right back with Bo Bice on Roots and Music. Welcome back to Roots and Music, and we're here with our great, great guest today, Mr. Bo Bice.
You've said publicly your mom's your American Idol.
Yeah.
How has she influenced you in your decisions and how you're going to be an artist?
Well, I said before how I grew up in church and singing. You know, my mother was a big part of that. I always listened to her sing. She was singing in a Southern gospel group called the Singing Jays when she was young, and so just that love of music. And you know, my dad was a big influence too. My mom sang, and my dad he kind of played the radio. You know, he was the one that played me the James Gang and Skinnerd and the Allman Brothers. And you know, my mother was more the Barbara Mandrell and you know, George Jones and Jim Croce, James Taylor, things like that. So I had a well-rounded education in music, and for me, my school was really our turntable back home. You know, those big consoles that we used to have, man, and like Mom used to give me the bottle of Pledge, and I'd have to pledge it down, you know, spray it and everything, and I'd just be putting on music, and you know, so those are definitely fond memories for me, and my mom will always be my hero. But truly, I think if I do half as well as my mom and dad did it, raising us kids, all of our family, then I'd be a success in my book. So I'm extremely proud of my family.
Well, you're definitely a success,
Yeah.
hands
Thank
down. And what we love about you too is you're such a genuine person.
Oh,
And I can tell that your family, your roots in music grow deep. Is there a memory that you look back on and you know that day, like, this is what I'm doing?
You know, it's funny. That's a great question of the one day. I know I spoke about the Charlie Daniels experience earlier. That was a lot to do with it. I think just having an early love for music. You know, there's a bridge in my hometown that separates Huntsville from Lacey Springs, Alabama. It's the Tennessee River Bridge. And my first memory of just my first memory, and not somebody else's memory that they've told me through a story,
Sure.
is crossing that bridge in my uncle's '68 Camaro, listening to Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh.
And that will forever, and this sounds awful, but I was standing up in the seat. We didn't have seat belts, laws. We didn't have car seats back then. This is 1978, people, okay? And but I'll never forget it, man. Standing in that seat and just every time I cross that bridge, it's like I smell that day.
You
the way
relive
the
that.
air smells, you know. And so I think that's probably my first real memory of not just my beautiful state of Alabama, but of music and what it meant to me. You know, that's why I still play that song every day. It's not just because Skinner's my favorite band and I love them and all that good stuff. It's truly because, you know, that song is a part of my life. It's a part of, my kids think I wrote it because I play it all the time. And I always say, I wish we had that mailbox.
But it touched your soul. That's the power of
It did.
music.
That's right.
Wow. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, I got to ask you a question about Will Ferrell did a movie, Blades of Glory.
Well, that was great, man.
And you did the soundtrack, didn't you?
I did a song. I did the song for the soundtrack. Yeah, Blades of Glory. That was a lot of fun. You know, they called me up and they said, "We're interested in you doing this song." And I'm not exactly sure how it got through to me. I think one of the producers was a fan, and he says, "So we want you to sing the song. Check it out." And I listened to it, and I was like, "Wow, okay." He said, I called him back. I was, "Well, what is this, for a scene or something?" He goes, "No, this is the title track." He says, "And George Draculius is producing it." I was
Wow.
like, "Man, I want to work with George. I love George." So I get on the phone with him. I was a big fan, and George is like, "Look, this is totally tongue-in-cheek, and you know, it's supposed to be funny and lighthearted." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool, man, great." We got in there, we recorded it, everything was cool. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be interesting to see how they do the visual. The next thing I know, they call me up and they said, "We want to shoot a video for it. And we want to put it like at the end of the movie, you know, and do a little bit of stuff
Wow.
like that." And I said,
That's
"Man,
great.
this is going to be
Wonderful.
rocking." So I signed up for it. I get out there to California. I'll never forget walking in, and this producer, you know how these producers are. These cats are like excited. They're like, "Oh, check it out. Come over here. Check out the big old grand piano." I'm like, "Yeah, it's beautiful." He's like, "It's great. It's black. Look at this lighting. It's going to be great. Look, it's going to be good." I'm thinking, "Oh, this is great." He goes, "No, look. That's what I need you to do. I need you to go in the back. We're going to get you set up. We got you a powder blue tuxedo and big ruffles. They're going to do hair and makeup. I'll see you in an hour." This guy's out of there. I'm like, did he say ruffles? He better mean potato chips. You know what I mean? But next thing I know, I'm sitting behind a big old grand piano and a powder blue tuxedo, and they're telling me how great the light looks, and I'm like, this better look really good right now.
And
But
I
it was
bet
it was
did.
fun. It did. It was a lot of fun, and
What an
I think
experience.
it, you know, shows that you don't take yourself too serious. If we take ourselves too
Yeah,
serious,
absolutely.
man, it's just
Yeah.
you know, it can get ridiculous. So I think I'm the person that makes fun of me the most and enjoys it, and that was just another way of kind of showing folks, look, man, life's too short, man. Get over it, have fun. You know?
But you do have a serious side. I know you're a big family man.
Yes, ma'am.
And in 2009, you received a Lifetime Presidential Volunteer Service Award.
You and Lee both understand because we do a lot of these events together. As you said, we met at the White House. That was where we got our chance to go up, and that's where I was honored to have someone that really recognizes what we do in our time for charity. But also, I believe that we do things and we don't want recognition for them. We do them because we love and
Absolutely.
It's our purpose in
Giving back.
life. And we do it for the love of the people around us. And some people call it giving back. Some people call it paying forward. I just call it being. You know, I got kids. I got a
I
wife.
love that.
And life's good, man.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming here today on Roots and Music.